It's about friendship, and it's a little weird to have that as a theme for graduation, because the graduate students here on the stage are generally young enough that they still have their friends from undergrad, and they have all the friends they made here at Medill. The seniors about to graduate now, they have their friends. They're young enough, they have their friends in high school probably, and they have all the many friends they made here over their career at Medill. But when you talk to older people, sometimes friendship is a little different, and it's a little nebulous, and it's a little harder to hold on to than you might think for the 259 graduates here with us today. And the reason I see this is that I also preside in October over Alumni Weekend and Homecoming, and I quite often am approached by students, at the 5, the 10, the 25, 50, whatever it is, and they come up and some woman says, "Oh, this is my roommate Jane. We're best friends for 4 years. I couldn't have survived my college experience without her. We vowed that we would forever be in each other's lives." Or some guy comes, "This is my friend Jim," the same kind of story. And I usually follow it up by saying, "Well, okay, when's the last time you saw each other?" And here's the sad truth, and maybe the older people in the audience can recognize this, that for everyone who says, "Oh, I was just at the 30th party or the 40th or their kid's wedding or, God forbid, unfortunately, their parents' funeral, we're still in each other's lives." That's unusual. Most times, believe it or not, they then say to me, "Life got in the way, and in fact, this person is not in my life." And I think about, what does that mean, life gets in the way? Well, it means that maybe your spouses and partners don't like each other. Maybe your kids are driving you crazy. You can't devote the time they are, certainly mine. Maybe your parents have needs and you're caring for them. Whatever it is, but don't let life get in the way. So here's my little thing to you. When you hug your friends now, whether you're graduate students or undergrads, and you say, "We're going to stay in touch," I can just tell you from my own experience, when you have a success, you want your family there, but you want your friends there. And when something goes bad, as it inevitably does in life, you want your family there. You need your friends there. So vow today that you're not just going to say it, but you're going to walk it. You're really going to keep your friends in your life. So my wish for you is a life full of the blessings of happiness and health and of lifelong friendship. Thank you.
An exciting part of this ceremony every year, certainly this year, is that I now get to introduce the first of 2 speakers. Elizabeth Schulze is a BSJ at 12, this class. She was on MNM, she did her journalism residency in South Africa. Most important for this moment, she will speak for the undergraduates. Elizabeth.
Why would you ever do that? This was the question I answered at least 67 times my freshman year when I decided to do the unthinkable, to transfer into Medill. Unlike most of you, I was not the editor-in-chief of my high school newspaper. I had never owned a moleskin notepad, and I thought a nut graph was a rare kind of pistachio. So when I walked into my 2011 class after stalking Jarena twice weekly by email over fall quarter, I almost turned right back around. I was terrified and impressed by my Medill colleagues, from the all-knowing cherubs who'd already memorized the AP style book, to the quiet techies who'd mastered Flash after just 1 quarter. Before I go on, I'd like to thank my parents and all the parents in this room, who at one point or another during that quarter were on the receiving end of the phone call line. I just got a Medill F. Your loving support and utter misunderstanding of why we were upset is truly appreciated. Anyway, I had no idea at the time that it was many of these students sitting around the table with me in MTC 2115 who over the next 4 years would help me navigate the streets of Chicago and of the world. Medill has quite literally taken me around the world. My sophomore year, I was fortunate to travel to the NU Qatar campus, where I witnessed the unifying power of a school's curriculum. In 3011, those students in Doha were steering through neighborhoods crowded with bazaars, while we trudged through the snow in Edgewater on election day. We quickly bonded over our excitement about man on the street reporting, and our frustration about the black hole that Medill likes to call CMS. Last spring, Medill took me in 1 week from that diverse and fascinating townships of Cape Town, South Africa, to the never-ending cornfields of Fargo, North Dakota. However, Medill has taken me around the world, not just in the places that I've seen, but also in the people I've met. One of the first people I met was my advisor, Larry Stupenagel. Since the day I first wandered into his office as an unsure and wide-eyed freshman, Larry has been a constant source of advice, teaching, and support. Whether it was offering me a tissue after I multiple times tearfully declared I'm never going to get a job, or a slice of Lumalnati's after the final NNN show of the quarter, I'm truly grateful for his willingness to help. I've seen this same dedication from so many other Medill professors to students, from faculty and staff as well, and I believe that these relationships are what make Medill such a successful place. Just this spring break, one professor helped me get into the White House press pool to cover an event with Michelle Obama in my hometown. Not only was I impressed that my professor was emailing me on a Friday night of spring break and that he remembered that I was from Minneapolis, I was inspired by our mutual excitement over a newsworthy and interesting political event. Faculty and staff here at Medill have diverse backgrounds, specialties, and interests, but they all share a common desire to make the school the #1 place to learn and to teach journalism. And yes, we are #1. Thank you very much, U.S. News and World Report. Another person I met shortly after I transferred into Medill was Omar Mohammed. Omar attended the Northwestern campus in Qatar, and when I wrote this speech a month ago, I had no idea that he and many of his classmates would be sitting right in front of me in the audience. As Omar tutored 11 students and me around Doha, he craved to learn more about what journalism was like in the States. He found out next year when he visited Evanston and ultimately ended up spending 6 months here. I was inspired each time I spoke with Omar. He had both enthusiasm and optimism about how someday the press would be as free in his home country as it is here. Though Omar is my own age and was wearing this exact cap and gown when he walked across the stage at NUQ a few weeks ago, he illuminated the reality for me, a reality that I think can be easily overlooked, that we can learn so much from our own Medill colleagues. Finally, we've met a variety of personalities as sources over the past few years, often learning more from the average Joe interview than the big-name celebrity. Take, for example, when I met Desmond Tutu last spring in Cape Town. I practically hyperventilated trying to ask the world leader a question, and I was expecting an answer filled with hope and promise. Instead, Archbishop Tutu looked at me and asked if I was working for the news network that now had naked news reporters. I shamefully admitted that yes, this was my network, but it was part of the entertainment show, not the news show that I worked for. I truly admire and honor Archbishop Tutu's work and leadership, but after this humiliating exchange, I was more excited to spend time getting to know sources who were eager to share their stories. The skills that we've acquired to tell these stories, whether they're in writing, photos, video, or web, have value far beyond journalism. Today, I no longer find myself continually answering the question, why would you ever transfer into Medill? But instead, what's the future of journalism? No matter how many lectures we attend or discussions in which we participate, this question, and to our family's chagrin, the question of whether there's any stable financial future in journalism linger. However, I think that what I do know is that the broader worldview that Medill has instilled in us makes us more prepared than anyone in today's world of interconnectivity and globalization. Thanks.
On the graduate side of Medill, David Joseph Unger has many things I could say about him.